I'm often asked by sales leaders how they can get the most out of their team. How can I push this individual a little bit further? I could be getting a little more out of them. The team needs them. What do I do, Jeff? One of the first things I ask is, does that person want to be pushed? Now, this may seem like a silly question. What difference does it make if they want to be pushed? They need to do their job. Darn it, we're going to make them do what they need to do for us. And so rarely is it considered that maybe that person doesn't want to do that thing, or more likely that person isn't understanding or aware of what's in it for them when they do that thing. This is what I want you to do. I want you to shift your mindset a little bit. I want you to think about whether or not you would treat a customer like that. Would you ever push a customer? Would you ever forcibly coerce a customer? Would you ever demand a customer did something? Well, no, of course not. I'm going to ask you another question. Have you ever considered that as a leader, your team are your customers? Probably not. Now, my take on this is a little different than some that you may have heard. I think that anytime you ask someone to do something, particularly if they wouldn't have done it if it weren't for you asking, then when you ask that, you're making a sales call. And when they do something that you ask, you've made a sale, which makes them your customer. So now with that frame of reference, how are you interacting with your team? How are you leading your team? We've heard this for years, that selling is leading. Sales is leadership. You get your customers, your prospects, to do something for you that is in their best interest. That's a win-win situation, right? Are you taking that same approach to your team, to the people that you lead? See, here's the thing. Some top performers, the ones that we like to pretend that we want a whole team of, that has its own issues that we can cover at another time. But those top performers often are driven. They're competitive. They love the adrenaline rush of having someone right on their heels, right for performance. They love seeing their names climb up the leaderboard. Those people want to be pushed. The majority of your team, probably 3/4 of your team, they don't respond to that. That's not what they're there for. They don't self-identify with their position or their job or their results the way some of those real leaders do. Your role players just want to do good work to live a good life that they feel proud of. And top line, really high-flying results just don't do it for them. So what do you need to do? You need to treat them differently than your top performers. You need to think about the way you sell to your customers and your prospects. You don't treat them all the same way. When you think of your team as your customers, you start treating them differently as well. You don't need to beat them into submission, right? The beatings will continue until morale improves. No, I think that you can get some results here that will help you. What do you need me to do to help you get those? This team needs you. You've got skill sets and you've got talents that some of these other people don't have. We could really use your contribution here. How can I help you with that? It seems like you're not meeting your full potential. How can I give you the resources that you need to grow? What is your why, right? How many times have you heard me ask that question on the podcast or in any of my other pieces that you've seen? Do you really understand the why behind the individual members of your team? Think about that. Think about the way that you can approach them that will help them understand what they get out of maximizing that performance beyond the team just succeeding and exceeding its goals. When you think about your team as your customers, the whole equation becomes a whole lot simpler. Make the sale. You're good at that. Go do it.